Welcome to the Spotlight segment. This is a segment dedicated to interviews with developers or interesting happenings in the world of Android. And now for this week's episode, here's your Spotlight. We turn our attention now to the Spotlight, and today we're talking about TalkBack 15.1. It's something that was rolled out sometime last week, or was it this week? I think it was this week that it was rolled out. And so if you have it, it's something that will be rolling out in stages. It's not like all of us getting it at the same time. You know how these things are. I noticed that I got it. John, did you get it?
I did get it.
You
I'm
sure
curious to hear if Green or Sala got it yet.
No,
Yeah.
not yet.
This time you didn't
Me
get
too.
Sally. You didn't
No.
get it. What happened?
I
I
don't
think
know.
maybe because last time,
I guess you
Carrie,
can only get lucky once, right? That's what they
Exactly.
say.
Yeah,
because last
last
time
time I was one of the first to get
Exactly.
it.
I think Karen was like the first one to get it in that area. Your lucky star was shining that day, Karen, and now for some reason you didn't get it.
Yeah, but to be honest, I'm not. I'm not feeling that I'm missing something because actually I was so excited with the 15.0 version, and I was so much excited to test the detailed image descriptions. So I was so happy to get it in the first batch. Right now, it's okay for me. I don't mind waiting. So it's good that Google put me in the first lucky ones last version, and this time not, because this was the version that I was really curious to test, and right now I'm okay. I don't mind waiting for a week.
I think there were some few things that were changed in this 15.1. John, you remember some of these things? You're going to be bringing us the TalkBack highlights, later on. But I think there were a few changes that were made.
We
in
can
this,
go
version.
through the article that we wrote, I guess. So
We have an
those are
article.
the things. Yeah,
Okay.
extended reading controls is the highlight that we have. Buttons, checkboxes, edit fields, focusable items, heading 1 up to 6, images and videos, lists and list items, tables, combo boxes, wizarded links. I think this is pretty cool for those who want to go through the web. I think this is a much anticipated thing that we needed for TalkBack.
Yeah, so in other words, we have most of the commands that one would find, say, using a regular screen reader on your computer. So it's nice to see us, in this playing field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you could do this stuff with a keyboard before, but it's nice to be able to have the option to add what you want to your reading controls, because before it was just all you had was landmarks, headings, and
controls were all about buttons, checkboxes, and things like this.
Everything. They were all in one. Yeah, which I still use I'll still use controls in certain situations, but it's also very nice to, like, if I know I want a button, I want to go directly to the button. It saves so much time.
I think that's a nice move, a nice shift, because prior till now, like you said, one has to use that controls, and now if you don't want to use the controls, you have this. So I think that's in line with the other screen readers that we have out there, and it's a nice move.
Absolutely.
In fact, it's better because G-Show doesn't have this this level of customization, because visited links, for example, is not present in G-Show. Heading level 1, 2, 3, we only have headings. So this is more granular in TalkBack, so it's better. We should say things when Google does something right. We should say it. So they did it right. But I have a question. Because I couldn't test the version. So if you don't have we don't have buttons in the page. When we move between reading controls, are we going to have buttons? I'm just asking as an example, buttons as an example.
Yeah, it will still be in your reading controls as long as you're in a web view, it will show up in your reading controls, and you'll still be able to change to it. But then when you swipe up or down, it'll say no previous button or no next button.
So it's now like doing like G-Show. So you have those things only when you are in web views, and if you are in a standard interface, you won't see them.
Right.
Well, coming from Karen, this is actually something good because you usually you're. But yeah, so I think they got it right this time because most especially you're filling out forms or you're filling out whatever, and you want to switch to those check boxes or edit fields and all of that. I think it's nice to be able to have that capability and finally to see that happen. I think it's a good thing. I haven't been playing with it much, to be honest, so I can't speak much to it, but I will be playing with it to see what I find out there and how I like it. But again, one has to add those to it, right? You have to choose whether you want those or not, or if you just want to go with the good old controls, right?
Yeah.
Right. You have to go add them if you want them. Just TalkBack settings, then customize menus and reading controls, and just check the box next to each new control that you want to add. And again, they'll only show up when you're in a web view.
Then we have the links, which we're going to talk about in the next segment. Improvements to opening links. That's going to come off.
Yeah, what this is your so the old way of activating links is no longer there. You would bring up the TalkBack menu and you'd find links, and then there'd be a list of all the links that are in the current item that TalkBack's focus was on. Now you can't get to it that way, but you just have to go to the actions menu. So you can bring up the TalkBack menu, go to actions, and then at the bottom of the actions list will be, in addition to any actions that the item has, will be any links that are detected within that item. Of course, any way you can access actions will also work. So if you just want to swipe up or down to get to the links, you can, which is actually a much faster way of doing it than the old way of bringing up the TalkBack menu. So I do like this change. And another thing they've improved is that if an item in focus has a link and it doesn't have a double tap, like for example, in messages, like when you double tap on a message, it doesn't do anything. So if it doesn't have an action already, then if you double tap on it and it has a link, it'll just take you to the link because it knows you want to go to that link. If there's multiple links in the message, it will bring up a list of all the links, and then you can select. So there's two new ways of doing links, and the old way of doing links is gone now.
Yeah, it's gone for the better because I like this one better, definitely.
It is good. And I think there's also an improved or expanded, I should say, of the search. Like if you want to search for something, I don't remember the exact wording of it, but you search for items, for example, when you go to that search for something, it's been expanded as well.
Yeah, another new feature they added is you can put search term, or you have a reading control now for screen search. So yeah, if you add, you can also, like we mentioned before, you have to go add it. But once you add it to your reading controls, then any current term you're searching for, you can just, if you switch to that reading control, you can swipe up or down to go to the next term. I've only tried it on web pages, so it works on web pages. I'm not sure if it works in regular apps or not. My assumption is, and this is just an assumption, is that if it's on screen, it will find it, but it's not going to scroll the page for you and find it. But I could be wrong there.
Yeah,
I think that it could be different. Again, I'm just assuming. Actually, it could be like if you are focusing the list items, I mean, and you do and you perform the screen search. I think it could scroll and give you results when you do the next search thing or previous. But if you are focusing, for example, the buttons, for example, if you are in Telegram and you are focusing the more options button, it won't do this scrolling because it won't be on the actual list items of the that it could scroll. So it's just an assumption, but yeah, we should test it actually.
Okay, I hope you're right, because I did try it at Telegram, but I do not remember where my focus was. So it's possible that I was not in the list focus area. So yeah, it would be nice in Telegram if it worked.
I think that the whole idea here is probably, like you said earlier on, especially web pages, and maybe if one is working in a document, this is going to come in very handy because you have a large document and you want to find similar terms or whatever. It will make it easier than the old method.
Should I just try it right now? See what happens?
Yeah, why not?
right.
Let's give it a try, and if it blows up in our faces, then we know what to expect. So go ahead, find something that maybe has some keyword that you would like to be looking for.
Jerry Jitta. I think the Watch 7 series is pretty reply Devaj Diani. Reply Devaj Diani. I experimented with Google.
All right, so
chat muted. 2000
what's something I should search for in our group?
It isn't the speed of the voice I want. It is responsiveness. I can't
Let's search for
punctuation, verbosity. Jerry Jitta.
Your name, maybe, John.
Okay.
Screen search.
yeah. Let's search for John. Good idea,
Let
Carrie.
me.
Speech rate.
So speech rate.
90%. Speech rate 82%. Speech
Yeah,
rate
that's good.
68%.
Can you hear it all right, or should I raise it?
You can turn it up a little bit, but I mean
Okay.
the speed is good.
I experimented with Google TTS when I
Nice.
first took the
Okay.
Nice.
All right, so I'm here in Telegram.
Jerry Jitta. Devaj Diani. Certainly. Punctuation.
I'm gonna go to
Verbosity. Speech rate. Screen search.
screen search, and
There we
I'm
go.
gonna search
Search
for my
for your
name.
name. Yeah.
Find John.
No matches on this screen.
Okay, now I'm gonna swipe up.
No previous result on this page. Jerry Jitta.
Um,
It is Jerry Jitta.
Yeah, so it
the
seems
problem
it
is-
doesn't
Jerry
work
Jitta.
in Telegram.
Punctuation.
Telegram's a little bit wonky.
let's see.
Verbosity. Speech rate. Screen search.
Try
Try
next
again.
result. Maybe it's in reverse or something.
Jerry Jitta.
Oh,
It is
okay,
this
good idea.
Punctuation. Verbosity.
The problem is I have to change the reading control because when I put the focus back on, it switches to actions.
Speech rate.
Okay, so
Screen search.
back on screen search.
No next result on this page.
Yeah, it's not doing next either.
Yeah, so I'm
Oh, it
thinking
probably if it does work
doesn't
in apps, it probably depends on
on the app.
the app. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I know for sure it works on web pages.
it's just not something that works in Telegram like we've indicated earlier. It may be app to app. This behavior is no stranger to what we see over the period. Sometimes certain things work in certain apps, and in other apps it just is a no-go. So I think Telegram is very notorious for not working right a lot of times.
It's not Telegram that we should blame here, because actually it's how the feature works, how TalkBack works, in fact. So here, it's if it allows for automatic scrolling, actually, when you are using Telegram, you can't scroll. So, but TalkBack is not doing this scrolling thing when doing the search. So I think the one that we should blame is TalkBack.
Yeah, I think it would either have to be on a website or in an app that uses a web view to work. That's my guess.
Yeah, so definitely we can see it's not working in Telegram unless there's something we're not doing right. But I'm sure John is there on the screen somewhere, So why it wasn't finding it is just kind of an oddity.
In addition to the new features, they actually added some bug fixes, and I'll actually demonstrate one of them here.
Nova Launcher. Home. Out of list. Remind.
So they've fixed the description to let you still do manual icon description or text description when you do a Gemini description. And I have, let's see if this app is
Remind. Button.
Yeah, so I have an announcement here in an app, and I'm just going to do a image description on it
Button.
because all it says is button, right?
Yeah.
Detected image. This is a screenshot of a Facebook event post. The post is calling for volunteers for 2 different events. The first asks for volunteers to wrap gifts at the Angel Gift Shop on November 25th and 26th. Volunteers are asked to bring a roll of wrapping paper and meet Ms. Nancy at the church side after morning drop-off. The second asks for volunteers to dress as angels at the Angel Gift Shop on December 3 to 6. The times are 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Volunteers are asked to sign up via the link below. The post ends with a thank you. There is a share button and page number in the bottom right corner of the screen.
So of course this is Gemini being Gemini and summarizing things, right? So if all you wanted was the text, now what you do is after this pop-up appears, you just swipe right.
Text in image. We are looking for volunteers on November 25th and 26th to help wrap gifts for our Angel Gift Shop. Please bring 1 roll of wrapping paper and meet Ms. Nancy on the church side after morning drop-off. We are also looking for volunteers to dress as our angels during the gift shop, December 3 to 6 from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Please sign up via the link below. Thank you. 1 of 1.
And it will say text and image followed by the exact text that was detected using OCR in the image. So you no longer have to trust Gemini to get it right or worry about whether it's summarizing it or not. And again, like I mentioned, also if it detects an icon, it will also give you the icon detection result.
You know, this is really good. I like the summarization, but if you want more details, I mean, like when you swipe right, it gives you more details and, you know, all of that. So this is really nice. I like the feature. This is a well done job, in my, of course, never to be humble opinion. So I like what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that was my biggest disappointment. I liked the Gemini descriptions itself, but I did not like that it basically broke, you know, being able to manually OCR something. So I'm glad it's back. Another thing they fixed that I was very happy about is now when you hide the screen, everything is actually hidden. Before, anything TalkBack related, like a TalkBack pop-up, would still show on your screen. So, you know, if you brought up the TalkBack menu or if you changed granularities or you're swiping through actions, all of that stuff showed a pop-up on your screen, even if your screen was hidden. And, you know, with the addition of these new Gemini descriptions, that was also TalkBack pop-ups, and that would still show even if your screen was hidden. So I think it was good of them to finally make it so that it hides everything, even TalkBack related items.
Yeah, so a lot of work went into this particular version. Was there anything that stood out in the Braille department?
It's interesting you mentioned that because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think have you tried it with you're supposed to be able to, so and earlier this year at Google I/O they announced that TalkBack 15 was supposed to finally support HID devices over Bluetooth, and it did not make it into 15.0, and I'm pretty sure it did not make it into 15.1 because it's complete silence. Like in their official announcement about it, there was no mention of it, and I feel like if they had finally got it working, they would have said something about it. Have you tried this yet, Warren?
No, it hasn't. It hasn't been fixed. It's not quite there yet. So I'm sure we'll get it, you know, sometime before the year ends, so maybe early next year. Who knows? But
Or maybe
you know,
the year after, or
no, I
2
would.
years after. Yeah. I mean,
Come on, John.
they said TalkBack 15.0 and it
Well,
wasn't. So
you know, Google coming soon, right? Coming
yeah,
soon couldn't be coming any sooner.
in the coming weeks, could be 500 weeks, but in the coming weeks.
Yeah, but frankly, I'm hoping though that would finally get resolved, and we'll see what happens. But on the whole, I think I like what is going on, especially with some of the things that you've demonstrated, and also what you'll be demonstrating in the TalkBack highlights. So it's a good start, and I think we're only getting better every day. It's like me getting better every day. So TalkBack is taking something from my playbook. And not to forget Sally. So both from Sally and I's playbook, we get better every day. And so TalkBack seems to be following in that footsteps, right, Sally?
Exactly.
So
If you
who
are
does
like TalkBack, so this will be a real problem because
No way.
I know.
I mean, come on, guys. So it's just who doesn't like something that gets better? You know, it's like an old
No,
one, right? You guys
I
said,
am.
old one gets better.
Yeah, I am glad it's improving. I'm very happy about all these additions. Another thing they've fixed while we're talking about bugs they have fixed is the copy last spoken phrase. And what it used to do, I don't know if it was just in URLs or if it was everywhere, but specifically with URLs, there was an issue where instead of copying the actual text that was spoken, it would copy what TalkBack says. And because TalkBack only needs two symbols back to back to say it differently, like for example, it would say https:// instead of // right? So it would actually, if you would copy last spoken phrase, it would copy the URL, and instead of putting two slashes, it would put the number 2 followed by the word /, which would obviously break the link. So I don't know if it was doing this around the board or if it was only with links, but they have changed the behavior of talk copy last spoken phrase to make it work better. Now, Karine brought this up to me, and I think she's right. She said it was doing what it was supposed to. It wasn't a bug technically because it was copying what was last spoken. But I think in most cases, you probably don't want what was actually said. You want the exact text that was in the item. So I think this is an improvement here.
Yeah, definitely. That was another problem that got fixed because, yeah, the reason why it was doing that and why Karen said that was, yeah, of course, if it was reading it as /, and if it's going to copy it, then it has to copy exactly what was spoken. And so it was doing what was expected of it. So the problem was that TalkBack was reading. It's not reading the slashes, back-to-back slashes, and instead it was, abbreviating them as two, and then the word /. So definitely it will just copy what it said. But I'm glad they fixed that. So if you're copying a URL, it's going to copy it exactly as it should be. So that is good.
here I should just mention Jisho because when you use the copy last spoken item custom function, you will get the same behavior that TalkBack had before, which is I still consider it the normal thing. But the difference is that with Jisho you can disable the grouping of repeated symbols. So if you want to stop this behavior, which is like // or actually Jisho starts with three and more. So if you want to stop this, you can just do it from the settings. Actually, TalkBack doesn't have this. So with TalkBack, you are required to hear it as TalkBack likes to say it. So from 2 and more, you will be hearing the number of symbols, then the symbol. So just I wanted to say that sometimes just a simple toggle could make a difference, which TalkBack doesn't want to understand. So everything should be toggleable in a screen reader. And unfortunately, this is not the case with TalkBack.
Yeah, I understand what you are saying. So it would be nice if we could toggle that on if you want to hear 2 slashes or 3 emojis or something like that, right? I think that's where this is all coming from. Let's say maybe someone has a smiley face like 5 times. I just want to hear 5 smiley faces or whatever, than hearing it like 5 times. So I totally understand what you're saying.
And now I think we should mention some bugs that I've found in the new version. Now, I'll be honest, I don't think one of the things I'm going to mention is a bug, but it is a change that I don't like. So I'm still going to bring it up just to warn people. So both of these are related to the Braille keyboard. And Warren already knows where I'm going with this because I've talked to him about it. But,
I know.
So when you're in the Braille keyboard, if you this is how it used to work. If you would move the cursor to the end of the field or the beginning of the field, it would read everything between where the cursor currently was and where the cursor has been moved to. So what I would do is I would type out something, and then I would move to the beginning of the field, and TalkBack would read back everything. So that was like an easy way for me to check everything I had typed before I sent the message or whatever. And now it doesn't do that. It just says beginning of field or end of field when you move the cursor. And it's kind of disappointing to me because I use that all the time.
Yeah, I could see where this could come in handy. Like you said, it gives you like a quick review of what you have. But I think that maybe the change is to reflect what other screen readers do, because whether I'm on a Fruitvale or on my computer, for example, I go to tab of file, it's just going to say tab of file. It's not going to read what's in between there and the other one. And the same thing with TalkBack. Let's say you are in a text editor somewhere. When you go to beginning of field or tab of page, you'll say beginning of field or end of field. So I see where they're coming from.
No,
but
it is
I
more
see,
consistent. Like you're saying, if you're like when you're in Gboard, just editing any text field, and you do the gesture to move to the beginning or the end of the field, it just says beginning of field or end of field. It doesn't read everything between. So it's more consistent now. But I assumed that they did this intentionally, because when you're in the Braille keyboard, you can't review your text like you can when you're using Gboard. You could just touch the text field again and have it read to you. But when you're in the Braille keyboard now, there's really no way to do it, except the new way I've been doing it is selecting all, because it will say select all and then read everything. But that's very dangerous, because if you tap the screen accidentally or swipe accidentally, everything's gone. Like it deletes it all. So, if you're going to use that method, you have to be very careful.
Yeah, so in this case, though, I can see where it would be nice to have a better way of reviewing what I have typed, just like you indicated. If I were using Gboard and I'm in an active edit field and I'm at the beginning of the field or at the end of the field, I could easily review what's going on there. So the previous method that we had with the Braille keyboard, where moving to the beginning reads what is there in between that beginning and where the cursor ends. I think it would be nice to implement a way of reviewing text there without the fear of messing things up.
Yeah, and then the other thing related to the Braille keyboard, and this definitely is a bug that I've discovered, is that if you're typing, I know you don't use contracted Braille. I think you just type in uncontracted Braille.
Yeah.
But I type in contracted Braille, and what's happening is if I don't complete a word by putting a space, so like I type out a word, when you're typing in contracted Braille, it doesn't actually put the word in the field until you're done typing the word, because it doesn't know what word until you're finished with the word, right?
That's right.
So what you have to do is put a space after a word before you move the cursor to the beginning or the end of the field, or it will take the word with it. So like if I type "this is a test" and I don't put a space after test or a space after the period, then when I move the cursor to the beginning of the field, it will then say test, this is a. So it will take the word
test.
Yeah, it will put the word where you've moved the cursor to rather than where the cursor was. So that's a very bad, annoying bug. I mean, I just have to remember to put a space now, but yeah, I'd have to constantly think about it to not have it happen to me again. So hopefully this is something they'll have ironed out by the next version.
Yeah, this is definitely a bad bug that needs attention like yesterday. So this only started happening with 15.1 then, John? Or was it there even in 15 or prior?
Just in 15.1.
Okay.
It just started happening to me.